Hello there, it's Sarah from Paper Lovely. Thanks for joining me today. I've got a really fun rainbow slider card to share with you today, and here I'm giving you a look at the die and stamp set from Ellen Hudson that I'm going to be using to put them together. This is called the Rainbow Slider Die, and the stamp set is called Pure Magic. So here I've got a panel. This is trimmed out to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, the full top size of an A2 sized card. And I've cut that out of Paper Tray Ink Hawaiian Shores cardstock. I've taken the channel die and I've lined that up with the top. I want to have my channel pulling, or I want to have the tab pulling from the top of my card. So I'm going to line that right along the edge, and this is going to cut the channel that the rainbow is going to pop up out of, as well as a little half circle for the tab that you're going to pull in order to move the rainbow. And this will all make more sense as we put the card together. You can see there in the center of that channel, there's also a few extra die cuts. It does a shooting star as well as a small and large cloud. Here from some Nina Solar White, I'm going to trim out the actual rainbow portion as well as the back slider that's going to fit along the channel that we cut in the blue cardstock. So I've sped this portion up quite a bit. I'm coloring in the strands of my rainbow, and I wanted to let you know how I did that without sort of blending all of the colors together. So I've grabbed a piece of scrap computer paper and I'm just trimmed that to shy of 4 1/4. It's probably in between 4 1/4 and 4 1/8. And I'm just going to isolate each of the little strands of the rainbow there, and then I'll color those in with my Copic markers. And I will have the color Copics I used listed for you on my blog post. One additional tip I would give you is to make sure that when you're coloring each strand, go along the side edges of it. That way you won't have any white peeking through when you're finished. So before I get started on putting that channel together, I wanted to stamp one of the sentiments on the front of my card. So I went with "Make today a glitter-filled bag of rainbows and unicorn farts." I think that's hilarious, and it certainly makes me think of my niece and nephew. I know that they will get a kick out of getting a card like this in the mail. So I'm stamping that here using my VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And now I've grabbed a few of those cloud dies, which I've also cut out from some Nina Solar White, and I'm laying these down here on top of my panel. So where things are overlapping slightly, I'm just going to be really careful not to let any glue get on that section. And then you'll see for this top one here, because of the way that the rainbow pops up, I do go ahead and trim off that excess that's covering the channel. But for the bottom, because it's down along the bottom, and the curve sort of starts more in the middle as you pull the slider, again, you'll see this as we put it together, I am going to leave that top part of that cloud there. So here you'll see I'm going to go in and just trim off those side edges. So now we're going to put the actual sliding portion together. Now, because I think there should be gold at the end of every rainbow, I'm going to grab my gold glitter washi tape here, and I'm going to add that along the back sliding portion of this rainbow. You're going to actually pull this piece through the channel, and then the way that the rainbow is attached, that's going to create the bend in the rainbow. So if you wanted this to blend in a little better, you could also cut it out of the same coordinating cardstock that you made your front panel out of. But since I knew I wanted to add gold to mine, I didn't bother with that and just went ahead and used some Nina Solar White. So now that that's covered, I'm going to go ahead and attach the rainbow. And this gets attached sort of in a Z formation. So for the bottom of the rainbow, you're going to actually place the Scor-Tape underneath the rainbow. And I'm going to do 2 lines of that here just to make sure it's stuck down nice and tight, especially since I have that glitter washi on top of the back panel. So I'm going to go ahead and peel away the backing, and then I'm going to center that on the panel, making sure that those bottom edges are lined up perfectly. I'll make sure that's down nice and tight. And then I'll add another piece of Scor-Tape across the top of the rainbow. Again, I'll make sure that's down nice and tight. Then I'm going to line this with the channel opening on the front panel. So I'll peel away that backing. And then again, I'm going to line these up, making sure that the rainbow is in the center of that opening and making sure that the bottom edges are all lined up together. So there you can get a little hint of how that rainbow is going to pop up there. And then I'm going to turn it and give you a look at that Z. So next we have to create the channel that's going to slide inside of. So I'm going to use just one layer of Scotch foam tape. I've grabbed some 1/4 inch tape there along the one side, and then I'll fill in the rest with my 1/2 inch tape. And I'm leaving just a slight gap, maybe a 1/16 of an inch in between the tape and that white back panel. That way it has enough room to move, but it's not going to move too much. So once I had that finished, I just went ahead here and tested out that slider. And I didn't like that white section showing at the bottom, so I'm just going to go back and grab that gold glitter washi tape again, and I'll add one stripe of that across the bottom there to cover up that white that was showing. Before I attach my front panel, I wanted to go ahead and stamp my inside sentiment. So here I'm stamping on a Nina card base, and I went with the sentiment, "Go forth and be fabulous." Again, I'm stamping that with my VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Here I'll go ahead and pull away the backing to that foam tape, and then I'm going to place this panel directly down on top of the card base. I did just show you there quickly, I'm holding that slider channel in place. Because of the kind of Z shape that it does when you attach it together, you just want to make sure that that's not going to get stuck under the foam tape when you press this down. I decided then that the inside of my card needed a little bit more glitter, and you can never have too much gold glitter, so I'm adding one more stripe of that gold washi tape along the bottom here, and then I'll trim off that excess. And that will complete our rainbow slider card. Here are a few close-ups of the finished card. In the description box below, you'll find my blog post, which has additional photos and links to the supplies I used. Remember to leave me a comment below so you can be entered in the March Madness giveaway. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.